Om Shanti. Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Sunday Refreshing Talk. Hope you all doing great. Let me thank each one of you all for being here with us today. We are pleased to welcome those of you who have been with us for a long time, as well as those who are new to this Refreshing Talk. Special welcome. So what is our topic for today? What is our today's topic? Self-talk, a tool to resolve inner conflicts. What is self-talk? Self-talk is something we do naturally throughout our waking hours. It is influenced by our subconscious mind, and it reveals our thoughts, beliefs, questions, and ideas. Self-talk can be both positive and also negative. It can be encouraging and it can also be distressing. Much of our self-talk depends on our personality. Self-talk is the most powerful form of communication because it can either empower us or can defeat us. People are becoming more aware that positive self-talk is a powerful tool for increasing our self-confidence and curbing negative emotions. People who can master positive self-talk are taught to be more confident, motivated, and productive. It's a tool to resolve our inner conflicts. So we have today with us Brahmakumari sister Shilpa ji from Bangalore this evening. So let's welcome her to Shanti Sarovar. Welcome, Didi. Om Shanti. So let me introduce Sister Shilpa ji. So she is associated with this organization for the past 32 years, completely dedicated to the service of humanity through Brahmakumaris. She is a graduate in Commerce, Masters in Human Resource Management, MSc in Value Education, and worked in BPO sector for 5 years. She is into training and development program since 2005, conducting lectures, seminars, and workshops in various organizations, and also conducted various value education programs for teachers, youth, and children, and also conducted many meditation retreats, and is a core group member of SPARK, the research wing of Brahmakumaris. So let's welcome Didi among us and listen on the topic self-talk. Over to Didi. Thank you.
Om Shanti to all. And today, welcome to the session on self-talk. And it's a tool for inner conflict. So it's very clear that if you all are attending this session, we all have gone through and know what is inner conflict. So that is the reason we have come here to learn a tool called self-talk, how to resolve the inner conflicts or the crisis. So when you talk about the inner conflicts, it is like it's not one, it is like there have to be two opposing ideas or thoughts which is there. So the conflict arises. So here when we're talking about the inner conflict, it is there are no two persons here, as we are clear, like it is something internal. So what is that internal thing or the conflict which we come across is maybe it is like our own belief systems, sometimes what we want to do and what the situation is where we have to do or supposed to do can be different, and there can be conflicts. There can be conflicts in our own principles and values, what we have. So there can be different reasons. Like it so happens like what we are doing and what we feel is somewhere not matching between the, generally to tell, the head and the heart. So there is an inner conflict. Sometimes for the others, we all would have come across it. So how to overcome it, the beautiful and the only tool to overcome the inner conflict is the self-talk. So what is the self-talk? Is it like sitting and talking to oneself? Or is it like something that we don't know about? Or it's something that new we are going to explore? So it is not something new, whether we are aware or not aware. It is the inner dialogue we constantly have with ourselves. If you think today, okay, now there is a session, I have to log in, a thought comes. So I have to do it is a thought or a command or a direction you're giving to your own self, right? That means you're talking to your own self. It constantly happens, whether we are paying attention, what are the dialogues or the inner talk we are doing to ourselves, or we are not aware of it, we pay attention or we don't pay attention. Constantly it keeps happening. We keep talking to ourselves. But sometimes it so happens it's very loud. We talk to ourselves, sometimes it's like बहुत जोर से बात करे. We might talk it out loud. And some people think, okay, they are mad because they are talking so loudly to themselves. But it's not madness. The research also tells it is like a very common thing. But sometimes the voice may not be out, but the conversation keeps happening within ourselves. So we'll explore it in details. I would like to share screen with you, some presentation. Okay. So what is self-talk? As we understood, it is the internal dialogue. Self-talk refers to the steady stream of ongoing thoughts or the internal dialogue that goes on in our mind constantly. As we just now discussed, whether we are aware or not aware, we are constantly talking to our own self. The story I tell myself about my life and experiences. It is like constantly going on. It is like, okay, I went to the office today and, the boss was a little bit rude to me. So maybe this is what he thinks about me. And a person's behavior towards you, you start telling story about that. You create a story. Maybe this is what is happening. This is what is supposed to be. So the story that I tell to myself about my own life, and it is the experiences what I have. So that is a self-talk what we all do on a daily basis. And self-talk is that mind chatter that goes on in our mind, often just below our conscious thought. So as I said, constantly we are talking to ourselves. We are giving some directions, or we are telling something to ourselves, or we have our own stories building up, but we are not aware that what we are talking to ourselves, we don't pay attention. It is something which is conscious, not in an awareness state, but only when we pay attention, we'll be able to know like what is going on in our mind. So it is below our conscious thought level. So this, we all do self-talk, and day in and day out, we're constantly doing. So why it is so important to know about self-talk and how important is that tool? Let us explore about it. Here it is, the formula is P is equal to P minus I. So the small p tells our performance, our productivity or the output, whatever we can put it across. It is the P is the performance or the productivity. P is equal to P minus I. The bigger P is your potentiality, your true inner potentiality, what you can do, minus the I here is the interferences. So sometimes, so many times we come across situations where we find like we are more capable, we have the skill, we have the potentiality, but when we see the output or the result, what is expected, the performance, how we perform may not be equal. Then what is the reason for you actually being capable, you're not able to give that productivity, is because of the interferences. Here, interferences, when you remove from your true potentiality, and directly that will be equal to your performance. We all would have come across, right? In an examination also, sometimes we study so well, and when we write the exam, we see that we didn't write it well. We would have forgotten or something like that. So it is the interference what is created because I've prepared it and I've studied so well, and but while writing I might forget it or something. All those interferences, when we remove, we are able to perform 100%. So it is potential, interference, and performance. So our self-talk influences our moods, it influences our emotions, and ultimately our behavior. See, what we constantly keep telling. In Hindi, it is said that Jaisi Smriti, Vaisi Sthiti. So constantly what talk? It's like, okay, you're not in a good mood, and it is like suddenly some friend of yours comes and he's talking about all those good things you had. You had gone out and you had fun. It was such a good thing. So immediately the mood changes. It doesn't take much time to change the mood. Immediately you feel good, thinking about something good. So it is like maybe a certain person is telling you something, or you're recalling something good, something nice, or something bad would have happened in your office. You come back and you're again recalling that, like my boss today was very rude and things did work out in the office. So based on what you're recalling, what you're telling to yourself, your mood depends, and also your emotions and ultimately your behavior. For example, that day it was not a good day in the office, and you're constantly telling to yourself, this is what happened, these things, and you're constantly in the feeling or the emotion, and suddenly your kid comes and something something falls, or they break something. So what is your behavior? You're very rude to them, you shout at them. But if you're in a very good mood that day, even they break something or do something, you'll tell it's okay and play well or something. The response or the behavior of yours depends on what the chatter or what is happening in your mind. So that influences your mood, that influences your emotions, and ultimately your behavior. When your behavior based on that, your relations and the world around you also changes. So this is why self-talk becomes very important. And what are the consequences of the self-talk? So when there is a negative self-talk within us, it creates anxiety and distress. Because when you are constantly telling, okay, I'm not capable enough, or it's like a child wherein the parents constantly keep telling you're a dull head and you don't know how to behave, and all those constantly, when they keep hearing that and that's recorded, that gets into the subconscious mind, the person becomes like always stressful whenever they want to perform or something. They have accepted the thought, okay, I'm not capable, I'm not fit enough to do it. So that creates a lot of distress, that creates stress and anxiety, that creates helplessness and hopelessness, leading to the depression. Depression is something where a negative pressure which is created in oneself. So there is a lot of things which is happening because of the hopelessness, that they think they cannot do it, but they want to do it. And the pressure that creates because they want to do it, there is a pressure in the society, friend circle, family, but they find like the thought they've accepted, okay, I'm not good enough. So that helplessness and hopelessness. See, this, I think we can understand by a place wherein acceptance becomes very important. We would have come across students who are very dull heads, but if there is a teacher, a particular teacher who has very positive approach towards that student love the teacher so much, in that subject they will be good, their grasping power will be good. So that is like, always a soul wants someone to accept them. So it is very important. If you're not accepted, you start having a self negative talk, and that results in helplessness and hopelessness and leading to depression and loss of self confidence, loss of self esteem, and also resulting in failure. We might think like we are putting a lot of efforts, we are doing it again and again, we are working on it, and why there is failure? It is because somewhere constantly the chattering is happening. Like if I have a presentation, that is the first time, and everyone tells, first time you're giving the presentation, you will be very nervous and you'll feel this, that, and constantly I'm telling to myself, okay, hopefully I present it well, hopefully I don't fumble, hopefully I do this, that, this, but constantly you're giving a command that maybe you will not perform it well. So what will happen when you go and give a speech? Obviously, all those symptoms will come. So this is the consequence of negative self-talk. Now, if you have a positive self-talk with yourself, it enhances attention and motivation. So it is like you have a self-talk, like today is a very important lecture which you have to attend, and you tell to yourself, let me make the best use of the time. I'll pay attention to it, or um, I will make the best use of it. So you're telling to yourself that you're going to do it. Now I have to prepare food. You'll tell like I have to prepare it very well. The guest is coming. So what happens naturally? Your focus or attention will improve, and also it motivates you. Especially a lot of research has been done on sports personnel, especially the self-talk exercise, wherein they are guided with the positive self-talk. So the result was very amazing. They had more motivation. Their success rate was also very high. And it also helps us in managing stress and control emotions. So stress is something like we expect that performance, and in spite of putting the efforts, we are not getting the results, then we are like stressed out. But by talking to ourselves in a very positive way, it helps us to manage the stress. We'll discuss that in more details, like how it will help in managing stress and control our emotions. And it maximizes our skill development. Decision making, especially, it's always connected to our emotions. It's always said when you're very angry, it don't take any decisions. That's what they tell, because these emotions overpower our capacity to decide, and the performance is also affected. So here, when you have a positive self-talk, when you are able to manage your emotions, manage your stress, then it will naturally maximizes even your decision power. It will help in development of skill, and it also promotes self-compassion. So self-talk influences our decision making based on our beliefs. So here one thing we have to understand, even though we all talk to ourselves, the talk what we talk, the inner dialogue is always not the same which each one does. The greater influence is our belief system. Now what is this belief? You all can think like, what is the belief system we are talking? Self-talk and beliefs. Okay, here we'll have an exercise. Now, when you think about, just think, give a picture in your mind, like how does Thomas Alva Edison's laboratory would look? What comes to your mind? When you think about the laboratory and Thomas Alva Edison, he's doing experiments and he's doing something, working hard. So what are the general things which comes to the mind? What is the picture you would have? Anyone allowed to answer? Everyone's muted. Okay. So the things would come to the mind is sometimes it's like it's a very big lab with all those, chemicals, fuming, and it's all messy. And it's like a scientist is completely engrossed into that work, and he's grown his beard, and all those things come to the mind. Generally, that's the picture what we get. But actually, reality, Thomas Alva Edison's lab was that picture is not there. Okay, but actually, when you see, he had a lab which was very, I don't know why this picture is not coming. It was missing in the slide. So his lab was well organized, and he was like cleanly shaven person, and sitting and doing his work. So general belief what we have when we think about a person or think about something, we have certain belief system like this is supposed to be like that. So from where does this belief system come? So when we talk about the belief is something which is very deep rooted, which affects our thinking. It's like an iceberg. What we tell, like 90% is something called the subconscious mind. So it is below the conscious level where all our beliefs, our thinkings, and our emotions are there. And then the outcome, what we see is the behaviors and the results. Only that we can see at the gross level. But deep within are the beliefs and the thinking and the emotions. So what we believe affects our thinking. That's how we think. Like, for example, we believe it's like dogs are like problematic. They create a lot of problems. I come from night shift. They always keep barking in the road and they pull all the dustbin, what is there in that they keep doing. So that's how I believe. I have a very wrong thought if I have about a dog. So whenever I see a dog, what is the thought process which goes? And what are the emotions that create whenever I see a dog. So, and that results in the behavior. I might start pelting a stone at it, or maybe I try to chase it away. That might be the behavior. And the result or the outcome, whatever it is. So, if the belief system is, I believe dogs are very friendly and they're the most faithful creatures, and they are like, you know, if I feel lonely or alone, like having a dog as a pet is something very beautiful. So if I believe in that, then automatically when I look at a dog, what is the thinking? What is the chatter which comes to my mind when I think like, I might find it's a very cute dog, or the emotions which is connected as make me feel happy or have compassion towards it. And because of that love and compassion, I might, when I see a dog, I might like go closer to it or think about like, okay, if it's a stray dog, maybe I have to put some food and feed that dog. So my behavior and the outcome also changes based on my belief system. So this is the iceberg, and beliefs from the bedrock on which the edifice of the self-talk stands and sustains. So this belief system is very important. Each one's belief is something different, and based on this belief system, we start having a self-talk, and it sustains on that. Limiting beliefs. There are many limiting beliefs which we have. Maybe like I'm not good enough, or maybe like only tall people are the one who look good, or anything it can be. It can be something like someone who is a doctor or an engineer are the successful people, otherwise they're not successful. And if it is like if I work somewhere in a good AC office or something, then I'm like successful. I can even earn. There are a lot of people who have like doing a good business, even in a dairy and selling the milk, and there are people who are earning lakhs of rupees. So it is all the limiting beliefs what I have, like only if I do this, only if I be this way, only if I do it this way, then it is cool enough or it's something nice. So these are all the belief systems. There are few here. If someone says no to my request, it means that they don't love me or they don't appreciate me. So it can be no because they might not be willing to do it. That doesn't mean that they don't love me or appreciate me. There are few examples. And so let's just take a moment and think about what are the irrational or limiting beliefs you have. There are some examples which they are mentioned, but just write 5 irrational or limiting beliefs you have. Some people might think smoking is really cool, or each one has their own limiting or irrational beliefs. Just jot down 5 of the irrational beliefs you have. Take a moment. Or you might write a question and do that exercise also later. But if you do that, it will be very helpful. And some positive beliefs. We all have some good beliefs, rational beliefs, and also some irrational beliefs. So let us see some examples of positive beliefs. I can take up challenging tasks. So there are a lot of opportunities out there. This was actually a study done when initial days when people started moving to US, finding like they would have had a lot of job opportunities there. So they saw the city as a land of opportunities. So everyone with that strong belief system, yes, it is a place or land of opportunities. Whoever went there, they were all very successful, majority. And people who were there who believed like, okay, we don't have any opportunities or chances, their success rate was very, very, very less. So the belief system, and even we find like, after independence, when I was reading through all the success stories, whether it's Mr. Tata or MDH or Wipro, when you just look at the stories, or Dhirubhai Ambani, or maybe as an in a different field of struggling, whether it's Amitabh Bachchan or the actors, what is there, Vikas Khanna, the chef, whoever it is like they have come with a background or that era wherein like they didn't have access to much of it, but they believe that yes, they can do it. And that was a time where everyone, they had a value system, but still they really were very, very successful. But now I think many have a belief like if you have a very value system wherein it's like you are very honest, then you can't be successful. All those things, notions and the belief system is there. But they all were really, really successful with a strong values with them. Every individual has potential to excel with proper guidance and training. So it is the belief that each one is capable and each one has the potentiality, but the proper guidance and the training is required, then everyone can equally succeed in it. That's also a positive belief system. My past can be reviewed and rewritten. This belief is very important. Like whatever happened has happened, but rewritten means it doesn't mean like I go to it and change all my past. It's not going back in that travel machine or something like that and going and changing. It is something like each and every experiences of ours as an influence on us. Some people are coming from a very poor and such background. They carry that backlog. Okay, I'm poor, or maybe I can't afford to it, so I can't be successful. But with a positive belief, listening to the stories wherein you know a minister in Queen Victoria's court was a very, very person who was a very poor person. He studied under the street light and he became one of the minister in Queen Victoria's court. So it is like your belief that anyone can succeed. You have to put that effort. So that influence what it has on myself, all those past beliefs. So that can be rewritten by having a positive self-talk and changing those beliefs. These are few examples. And afterwards, you can take some time and write few positive self-beliefs that you have with you. So bad patches are temporary. That's also positive belief. So what are your positive beliefs? Try to jot down at least 5 to 10. So what is this anatomy of belief? What is this belief? So accepting that something is true or real. See here, the power of acceptance becomes very, very important. It's not like a statement, because many come up with an idea, okay, I'll make some positive affirmations, okay, I'm good enough, I'm this, I'm that, and constantly repeating it so many times and writing the affirmations. It's not just being or telling the positive affirmations, it's like accepting it. There is a beautiful story in the scriptures in Ramayana which they tell. Hanuman actually had the potentiality and capability. He was bestowed with some supernatural powers, but he didn't believe in it. And while he was supposed to go for a war with Ravana, even before that, his supernatural powers, because he didn't believe, he thought he won't be able to do it. Then everyone tells him, and including Rama tells, like, no, you are a person who has this, you are so powerful. And when they tell that, he accepts accepts that, when he starts believing, yes, I'm bestowed with such supernatural powers, then it is that he's able to perform the task. It is just a story, but in reality also, until and unless we don't believe in it, accept that reality, then just by writing positive affirmations and thinking that I think it won't help. And how does beliefs form? Why I'm not able to accept certain things in my life? I know I might have an understanding, but what are those beliefs and how it's formed? So one basic belief system roots from our childhood, and we all know this. Conditioning since childhood, it takes up till the age of 18. They tell like it's very important. Our the soul is in a receiving mode. It constantly grasps everything what the parents, the family, the education system, the society around, whatever information is fed, it's more in a receiving mode. So till up to the age of 18 years, it's like 25,000 hours. 25,000 hours goes into conditioning that thing. So all our belief system comes from our background, the religion, the education system, the friend circle, everything. That is the conditioning since childhood, and our own personal experiences. Maybe we would have done it once, twice, thrice. There is a failure in it, and we start accepting, okay, no, that means like I'm not good enough, or maybe I won't be able to do. So that's also very important. What we hear from those we trust becomes very important. It is like when we have like, okay, what he is telling is very valid. We have so much of trust on that person, and we don't know whether it's true or not true, and we don't know whether it's really that person is experienced or not experienced. We just start believing. For example, if he's a very famous doctor or something, whatever he tells, we start believing, okay, इतना बड़ा डॉक्टर है, अगर वो बोल रहा है तो शायद सही है. So what we hear from those we trust. And beliefs are invisible cognitive filters. So what happens, this belief system works as a filter because constantly we might be exposed to the same information and surroundings, but how we take it, it depends on our belief system. It is when someone tells something, if it is like I hear it from a trusted person, it can be a wrong information or right information. Because I believe he's correct, we accept it. If I don't feel like, okay, वो इतना अच्छा doctor नहीं है, वो तो बोलता है. So if I have that attitude towards them, even though they are giving the genuine information, then I may feel like, no, maybe I can reject that information. So they act as a filter. The way I look at things and what I accept is again based on my belief. See, it's like vice versa. It's like what I accept becomes my belief system, and based on what is my belief system, it acts as a filter. And beliefs modulate our experience. Because I believe it based on my belief, then it results in our experience. So there is a situation and there is a story I tell myself about the situation. So what story I tell myself depends on my belief system. The situation can be like two people are just talking, but I always find that person is a person who is always, when two persons are talking and I find something fishy, find like that person always talks something ill about me behind me. So maybe they're not talking something about me, but still I presume that, okay, they're discussing something there, they are having a chat, so maybe they're talking about me. So whatever is my belief story, based on that, I start creating my own story. So there is a situation and there is a story. I tell myself about the situation. What story I tell myself depends on my belief. If someone maybe like rude to me that day, like just if I believe it's like that person is always very rude, I will not be ready to accept that maybe uska mood ठीक नहीं था. So that is the reason they responded it that way, or maybe it is like she might be very tired today, so she's not ready to accept. I'll not take it because I believe that she's always very rude. She's not ready to help me. I think like she's always like that. She's not willing to help. But if I have a belief system, she's very good person, she's very friendly and helpful, then what happens, even though she is not ready to help me today, she tells no. I tell a story that it is because she's tired or maybe because of some other reason she's not helping me. So the story depends on our beliefs. So first, based on our belief, it guides us the self-talk. And based on a self-talk, again, it reinforces the belief. Like just now I shared an example. It is like a person's behavior and I believe she's a very rude person. She's not ready to help me. So what happens, there is an internal dialogue which is going, that is self-talk. And what will happen, because I'm telling to myself again and again, that is a thing, again, my belief system becomes more stronger. And again, that guides me to a self-talk. So it's a very vicious cycle. So self-talk and self-image. So what matters the most important is how I see myself. So here you might think like, okay, if a cat sees itself as a lion, does it become a lion? So here it is like, it's not the question of becoming something or that. It is, you know, like the image what you have for yourself is the guiding principle. It is like, I am not, okay, I am not what I think I am, and what you think I am what I think you think I am. Are you able to understand this? I am not what I think I am. It is not like, okay, I think like I'm a very capable person, I'm this, I'm that. It's not that. Self-talk or my self-image is not what I think I am. It's not what you think I am, because I don't know what is going on in other person's mind, right? See, I'm not sure like what is going on in your mind. So what will happen? I don't know. So it is, my self-image is not what other person think about myself, but it is that I am what I think you think I am. I have a picture in my mind or the self-talk or the chatter which goes on. I think that person thinks I am this. So what is my self-image? What is my self-image is what I think you think I am. So it's not what I think I am. It's not what you think I am. It is that what I think you think about me. So it is like looking through the glass, what other people think. Each one looks at us in a different way. So my perception is my reality irrespective of reality. So what is real? We don't know what really I am. It is that perception that I'm holding that, okay, this is what I am, becomes our reality. So the critic is your inner voice that attacks and judges you. So the inner voice constantly, which keeps telling like, okay, you're not good enough, you would have done it better, this is the way you're supposed to behave in a particular way, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. So constantly the chatter which is happening, the inner voice that is coming within you that attacks and judges you is the critic. So the critic blames you when things go wrong. Whenever you are successful and something is good and happening, you're happy. But something goes wrong, immediately it starts blaming. So the critic within us starts blaming ourselves And it's always like it negatively compares you with other people. The comparison is always there. It sets impossible standards of perfection. So with something that you find you can't achieve, but it constantly keeps telling, see, they are able to do it, and that's how it is, and you're not able to do it. So it sets standards of perfection. It maintains an album of your failures, but ignores your success. So this is a very important thing. We always remember, see, we don't in 1 year, maybe it is like a big failure or something went wrong. So whenever you're recalling, it is like, I did that mistake, I did that. But the whole year, maybe you would have done a lot of good things. So every day is success. It's like you would have thought of doing something today, you did it. So the inner critic is very critical. So it always maintains an album of our failures and ignores our success. The critic calls you by names. So maybe you can listen to the inner chat today, and maybe we might come up with some words. Some might call themselves as you're stupid, you're weak, or you're slow, selfish, untalented, and all this. The critic exaggerates the size and impact of your weakness. Maybe you're not good enough, that's okay, but it is like constantly the chatter is like manifested into such a big thing. Constantly it keeps telling, no, you're not good enough, you can't do it. That becomes so much exaggeration. The size and the impact of your weakness is always exaggerated. The critic is most negative part of each of us, and it hits you where it hurts, where your self-esteem is very low. When the self-esteem is very low, it hits us very hard, and it hits on our weakness. Dealing with negative thoughts. First thing, we should become aware of our own negative self thoughts or the self talk which is happening inside. So, self awareness of unconscious thought patterns, what we constantly tell to ourselves. So, we have to detect this first and then disrupt it. And thought stopping. When you become aware of it, immediately stop. If something comes to the mind, you are so stupid, why did you do it? Immediately stop. Stop it. First, you have to detect what you're telling to yourself, and then stop that thought. Reframe using counter arguments. You have to tell to yourself, like, no, I'm not stupid. That's okay. That's how it was supposed to be. I'll be able to do it better next time. So immediately rephrase your inner dialogue and create new positive thoughts. So using the self-reflection room. So everyone are able to see this dot. So it is like take some time for yourself, and the dot in the center, I'll just give you the briefing so that again we can go back to the slide and practice. The dot in the center signifies the essence that what we are trying to get. What I want as a person to be, that signifies the essence that we are trying to get. And we need to peel off the layers around and the essence through silence, non-judgmental reflections. So visualize yourself as that point of the being wherein you're full of potentiality and you're able to peel off all your perceptions and negative self-talk by letting go the outer layers. Let us practice for a minute. Just sit relaxed, and if you want, you can close your eyes. If you're comfortable, you can just look into that point of light. And this point of light, the seed, is full of potentiality, full of strength and capabilities. Now see clearly, what is that you want from your life? and see what is stopping you from achieving it. Circles around you are the layers or the interferences which is stopping you for truly being yourself. Take a moment to ponder and see what are those layers. Each layer is based on a wrong belief that you have. Take some time to travel back to the seed of the belief from when you started having that belief, and why do you believe that you're not able to do it. Reframe and give yourself a positive affirmation or a positive self-belief that you can do it. See one by one these layers melting away, and now you are in that true inner potential, able to express yourself without any interferences. One of you can make a note of this inquiry. What is the current situation that I want to resolve? Any one situation? Just take some time and see that one thing that you want to resolve it. Make a note of it. What are the facts in this situation? Because your potentiality and performance to be equal, it has to be factual, your true potentiality. It's not like we are imagining something, okay, I'm able to achieve it. So what are the facts in that situation? What is the story I'm telling myself about those facts? For example, it is like you might think like there is a problem and you want to resolve it. The facts are telling you want to reach office, for example, every day by 7 o'clock, and the facts in the situation is maybe now this whole 1 week it would rain heavily, and it is like the roads are getting blocked and it's very cold out there. These are all the facts. So what is the story now I'm telling? I have to reach the office. So the story is like, no, I think like I want to reach by 7, so maybe I can do it, I might not do it, or because it's raining and the road will get blocked. And what is the story that I'm telling about the facts? And do I realize that most of my anxiety, fear, anger are because of the story I'm telling myself rather than based on the facts in the situation? Give time to yourself and see that if I have to achieve it, and the story what I'm telling to that fact, is it because it's really that, or it is because of the story I'm telling to myself that is creating anxiety, fear, anger, hopelessness, whatever it is. Can I look at the situation from other person's perspective without getting judgmental? So to have that deep within yourself to be non-judgmental is very important. So you have to practice yourself wherein you're like very detached from the situation and see yourself being non-judgmental. So are you able to see it, or you are attached to the situation or the story you're telling to yourself? Is there anything valid in what the other person is saying? If you look yourself as a third person and look into the situation, then is there any difference in the story what I'm telling, or if it is not? Because here we can't go maybe like asking about other person to tell what it is. So here yourself try to do this exercise wherein you're completely detached. See, look at that situation as if it's someone else's situation, and at that time, what is your perspective towards that situation? What is your outlook? So whether that's valid or not. I think we just have a minute. So there is a lot of research which is being done wherein it self-talk and brain how it affects. So there is the center, the emotional brain, and then this the thinking brain. So it helps usually to emotionally also to strengthen us, and it also helps in um, decision making. And also it is seen that most of the time the wiring what is there, it is like from the emotional brain to the thinking brain. So always we see that emotions overpowers our thinking. Like I said the other time, when a person is very angry, their judgment goes wrong. So emotion overrules. By self-talk, what is happening is constantly I'm strengthening this thinking power. Through that the emotions are getting strengthened. So they saw that through positive self-talk, the wiring also changes from thinking to emotion. What they found in the study is always our wiring from emotion to thinking is more, and the vice versa was very less. So positive self-talk that was increased. And then all this because of time is short. How to change the belief centers, the self-talk. Um, So my perceptions, whatever may be the situation or the condition, like how I perceive things is my reality for myself. Like I shared the example of the minister in Queen Victoria's court. It is like he viewed the poverty as something as an opportunity to maybe even study. He didn't take it as bahana to just say that okay, because I'm poor I can't afford it, but he took it as an opportunity to do it. So it's always my reality is based on my own perceptions, and it is governed by my perspective. Okay, so self-talk and meditation. The English word for meditation is derived from the Latin meditatio. So that is the thing. The meaning is to think, to contemplate, and to ponder upon. So even in self-talk, what we do, we first take some time. It is like we just try to see what is the inner dialogue which is happening, and we try to think and ponder upon. And meditation is self-reflection in a relaxed state, ability to talk to oneself with love, self-compassion. And meditation is viewing oneself as a bundle of virtues. I'm capable, I can work hard, and it is about seeing the positivity inside. And meditation is not merely a relaxation technique. I think there is a lot of confusion nowadays wherein it's like focusing on breathing and focusing on something and relaxation techniques. So meditation is not merely a relaxation technique. It is a way of being and of seeing, resting on the foundation of deep inquiry into the nature of self, and offering the potential for liberation from the small-mindedness of self-preoccupation. So here it is like knowing our true self, talking to ourselves. So, so that I'm able to liberate myself and all the false, all the layers and false interpretations what I've created. So truly being compassionate with ourselves, and it helps us to empower the conversation with ourselves, which in turn helps us to overcome the anxiety and the fear. So it also helps us to be more self-compassionate. Always it is said that whenever you talk to yourself, speak to yourself as a third person, because if I am myself, then I'm very judgmental, and it's like I beat around myself so hard that you have to be like this. So instead of that, when you speak to yourself as a third person, then you'll be more compassionate. And feeling good about yourself does not require feeling better than others. So that's it for today. Okay. So any questions or anything? Then we'll have just 5 minutes of meditation. Any questions?
Didi, there is a question in a chat box. It is said, I understand when we speak to myself, I understand that I am speaking to myself. But when I am speaking to God, how do I understand that I am speaking to God?
It's very clear, right? The language what you use when you're speaking to yourself, you tell like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that. I'm worth it, not worth it, whatever the story is going on. But when you speak to God, you address to Him, right? The language changes. I think it's very easy to understand whether you're talking to God or yourself. You use the word I, and when you're speaking to God, it is like you're whomever you believe in, you tell, okay, you're talking to Him.
Thank you, Didi, for this wonderful presentation. It's really beneficial. And you focused on positive affirmations, how to deal with negative thoughts, and self-reflective questions and meditation. You spoke very well about this, and it is really beneficial to all of us. Thank you so much, Didi. Thank you. And let me once again, at a closing instant, thank you all for participating in this seminar today, which has made this a successful event. I'm grateful to each and everyone. We will meet next week, same time, same day, with a new topic. And you can subscribe to our YouTube Shanti Sarovar channel, and can inform your friends and also family. And see you next week with a new topic. Thank you so much, Didi. Thank you once again. Anyone have any questions? Any more questions?
Shall we close the session with a minute of meditation then?
Yeah, sure.
No questions.
Yeah, no question.
That meditation, whatever exercise is given, if you just take some time, just relax, sit relaxed, and just set a goal to yourself, like what is that you want to achieve, whether it can be transformation of a particular habit, or it can be something that you want, an outcome about yourself, not a very long-term one. It is for this week or something. You can set yourself, take some time, set a goal, what you want to achieve. and step by step plan accordingly. What are the steps you take to achieve it? Reflect yourself. See through that. Consider all the facts, what you have, or the challenges. Come up with some practical steps, what you would like to take to achieve your goal. From today onwards, till you achieve it, write a chart every day to see through that day where you're able to reach that goal. And the next column would be to see through that, like if you're not achieved, what was the interference? Because you created it based on the fact that you will be able to do it. So if you're not able to do it, what was the interference which caused you not to do it? And come up in a next column that what is the solution? Next time, what you would do so that that doesn't interfere you. Make a note of it, bring the corrections, and next day again see through that you're able to achieve it or not. This is actually Baba has spoken in one of the Murli. Like this is the method we are supposed to maintain a charge. So I think that will be helpful. Just reflect on it for a minute.
Thank you so much, Didi. Om Shanti.